History is filled with almosts, with those who almost adventured, who almost achieved, but ultimately, for them it proved to be too much. Then there are others, the ones who embrace the moment and commit.
Yeah, that was Jason Bourne running the hustle of his life. Yeah, that's how the now infamous Matt Damon crypto.com ad, well, that's how it started. And we know now how it ended. It did not end well for anybody who actually invested and took that actor's advice. Oh, it aged incredibly poorly. And that ad had aired just about a year ago to the day. And so before we give you the update about how people, how things turned out for the investors, let's finish watching the rest of the ad.
And in these moments of truth, these men and women, these mere mortals, just like you and me, as they peer over the edge, they calm their minds and steel their nerves with 4 simple words that have been whispered by the intrepid since the time of the Romans. Fortune favors the brave.
Yeah, so if I tell you, fortune did not favor the brave, they went broke. Per The Intercept, on the day that the ad was released, which was October 28, 2021, Bitcoin, the most famous cryptocurrency, was trading at $60,000 a piece. As of the moment this was published, 1 Bitcoin cost $20,000. That means that if you were encouraged by Matt Damon to buy $1,000 worth of Bitcoin last October 28th, it would now be worth about $342. Yeah. So you're probably wondering whether Matt Damon at least made some money from this stunt. And this is what we know. It's unclear how Damon was compensated for the ad. A Bloomberg article from last October 28 says that Damon is an investor in crypto.com, but not whether he received shares from his work. It also says that crypto.com made a $1 million donation to Damon's charity, water.org, although it does not state that this was in return for the ad. I've never done an endorsement like this, Damon is quoted as saying, "We're hoping this is the beginning of a great long-term collaboration." Yeah, no, not at all. Well, Damon, he's really far from the only celeb out there looking for a quick buck off of crypto. This per the New York Times. Last June, Kim K promoted the little known token Ethereum Max on Instagram. After her post went up, the value of Ethereum Max cratered, dropping by 98%. A resulting class action lawsuit accuses Kardashian and other Ethereum Max promoters of aiding and abetting a pump and dump scam. Her attorney describes the allegation as without merit and says they will defend the action vigorously. Because attorneys always say they're going to defend an action vigorously, it don't mean nothing. But I can tell you that there have been plenty of celebs out here pushing out these cryptos, from Reese Witherspoon to LeBron James to Larry David. And the thing is I don't really think it's gone very well. And this is kind of just evidence of that fact, as we're seeing with Matt Damon's push for crypto.com. Cenk.
Yeah, so there's a part of the story that's super random, but that I love. But first, come on guys, buyer beware. You really don't know that this thing's gonna be super volatile. Do you think that you, as the last guy in, has it all figured out? Or do you think maybe the guys who are playing this at a higher level might be manipulating you and that you're the sucker at the table? Did that not occur to you? So you're gonna, and why do you believe celebrities? Like seriously, like if there are subject matter experts and you say, you know what, Neil deGrasse Tyson is a bit of a celebrity, right? But he's a celebrity because he's a scientist, and so I trust him on science. Okay, fair, right? Matt Damon is a relatively smart guy actually, and I'm really surprised that he did this ad. But you're like, oh, I really liked him in Good Will Hunting, so I think he's got it right on crypto. Kim Kardashian, she's a very full-bodied person, so that's obviously she knows everything about Ethereum. Like what? How? What? How? Why? Why do you make that assumption? It's amazing, but these ads do work. They totally work, and then they pump people up. They're like, oh yeah, I'll show you I'm brave. I'll put my money in. The guys at the top rarely lose it all, right? Sometimes they do, but a lot of times they don't. And for the celebrities, they're just gonna get paid anyway, right? So they're good. They're already good, right? But the guy who goes in last, the guy who got like excited about the ad and went and put the money in, you're the first one to lose most of your money, if not all of your money. I'm just trying to help a brother out. Anyway, it doesn't mean that nobody can make money off of it, but you're kind of playing the lottery there because you got the crypto market figured out? Do you? Are you sure you do? And you got it figured out better than the guys at the top who already orchestrated the whole market in the first place? All right, well, look, anyways, it's a free country. You can do what you want. We're just trying to help you out. Buyer beware, be careful of these ads. They're just nonsense folks who don't know anything about this industry. Okay, but my favorite story. So they go, fortune favors the brave. And I love that quote too, to be fair, right? But I didn't know this, and John Schwartz did a great job of writing about this on The Intercept, and he educated me on this. It turns out that comes from Pliny the Elder. Okay, now that sounds pretty cool. It's an old Roman dude from AD 79, I believe. And so what was he famous for? Well, he was gonna go, and he's a good guy, he was gonna go help the people when Vesuvius exploded. That's the big volcano, and he was a good citizen, and he's gonna go over and he gets his ships and he's headed over. And then as they're getting there, it looks really bad, right? And a lot of people on those ship are like, Captain, I think we should really turn around. I think we might die too. And his helmsman says, no, fortune favors the brave. And they go forward and they all die. Awkward.
Yeah, what is the fortune to be gained there? Like a pat on the back, like get out of here. Why am I gonna risk my life and go into this clearly volcanic like chaos? What's the fortune there? I don't understand.
No, so that's why it's hilarious that it's connected to that story where the fortune did not favor the brave at all. Okay, death favored the brave. That's what happened, okay? So in this case, I mean, it's just such on the nose analogy, right? No, a crypto volcano, let's head right in. I think we got this.
Yes, and they got this in terms of a crash. It hurt so many investors, and some frauds are still out there really trying to scam people. For example, here's Jim Messina, former Obama advisor turned crypto peddler, and pitching Bitcoin on Fox News.
Very much pursuing, the blockchain, the whole technology. We've got, crypto. Some people are loving it, some people are hating it. They say its time has passed and all. Where are you on this? Obviously, a big, proponent here. Right. Where do you see it going?
Look, I think blockchain and crypto is one of the most exciting developments in our lifetime. I think when this is all over, we're going to be known this generation for COVID and for reimagining our financial system. I'm incredibly bullish on this. I think it's good to have a crypto winner, getting rid of some of the BS projects that are out there.
Bitcoin itself?
Look, I'm bullish. I'm buying Bitcoin right now. I think anything.
So in and around $20,000, can I ever get back to 60 some odd?
Oh, I'll bet you my Porsche gets back to 60.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Life truly is good if you have that to bet.
Yeah, I wonder how things are for him now. I'm sure he did have the best of intentions, I'm sure, going into this, but let's be real here. That stuff tanked. It was not a good look. Cenk, any closing thoughts?
Yeah, Jim Messina is a corporate goon. So, Neil Cavuto said he's a big proponent of it. He's not just the proponent of it, he's a very literal lobbyist for crypto. Isn't it amazing they never label people on cable news or mainstream media? Yeah, this guy's going to try to scam you on behalf of crypto because he literally gets paid to do that. Oh, Mr. Expert, what do you think? You're a big proponent, okay? And I told you guys about Jim Messina. We've been doing this show forever. So he's one of these corporate Democrats that worked for Obama. He was deputy chief of staff, and then he was his campaign manager in 2012. So in Washington, he's considered a demigod. They're like, oh, Jim Messina, and he worked for Obama. He's such a good guy. He's such a good, now he's going around working for right-wing, atrocious characters all across the world. He works for any corporation that'll buy his ass. And he's like, crypto, you're all gonna lose your money. Yeah, but do I get paid? I got paid a lot, didn't I? Yes, right? And he's a prototypical corporate Democrat. He makes Terry McAuliffe look like a progressive. So this is who they are. And by the way, the next time we'll get into a political debate with Jim Messina, and he will say, no, of course the Democrats should surrender to Republicans. Oh, there's nothing they could do. Did we get the tax cut? Yeah, we got the deregulation. Yeah. And we'll call it out, and people will be like, you can't say that about Jim Messina. He worked for Barack Obama. He's such a saint. No, he's a corporate goon. And he just showed you, are you kidding me? I'll bet you my Porsche. And he says it with a straight face. because everybody in Washington is super rich. And they don't think that that's a big deal at all. We just did a story for you saying now 52% of Americans are thinking of getting a second job because they're dying out there, okay? We did another story that shows you life expectancy in America is 4 years less than other developed nations because we live under corporate rule and we don't get protected from anything, tobacco, environmental regulation, nothing. We get no protections from our so-called representatives because they're crooks like Jim Messina. And then they go around going, oh, well, I'll bet you a Porsche, I'll bet you a Bentley, oh, I'll meet you on the yacht. And they say it on goddamn TV, rubbing your faces in it, because they think, what? I don't understand why people are complaining the stock market's up today. We're sick of these guys. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.